One of the things many businesses struggle with is creating an environment or a culture that you know provides the opportunity for people to win. And that's nothing wrong in that scenario. And one of the things that we work with you on at ProTrade United is your vision and your core values, two key ingredients that help create this winning culture. So I wanted to share with you something today that is a good starting point, that if you don't have those core values in place, yet you want to start the conversation around creating a philosophy or an environment or even a language of winning, that this is a great starting point. It was something that was shared with me, or the combination of which was shared with me close to 20 years ago. And we've instigated it on and off in our businesses along the way. But it's really simple, it's really straightforward. And it's something that you could even use this video for if you wanted to share this video in particular with your team. So let's get straight to it. I'm just going to bring up my iPad, and here we have it. So we have a look at this little diagram here. And in the language that we want to really use, let's say that this is where we are right now. Yep. This is our journey of life, and this is into the future. And we have two ways that we can play the game. One is called below the line, one is called above the line. In fact, one of our core values at ProTrade United is above the line. The A in ProTrade, which is the acronym we use, is play the game above the line. And when I share this with you, you may understand why. So let's look at below the line first. And we've got a little red line that sort of indicates a drop off in the way people are viewing the world. And again, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. And when I first got introduced to a concept around this, it was by a gentleman called Jim Rohn. He was one of my favorite business philosophers of the time. He's no longer with us, but he used this language below the line. And let's start by saying that if we were to use the word losing, if you were playing on a losing team, that losing was small errors in judgment repeated over time. A small error in judgment, but if you repeat it over time, it compounds the impact of that and leads to a losing team or a losing game, or in some cases, losing in life. Now, that's what we got to sort of put that into perspective there. So, small error in judgment could be, let's say, from your finances, spending more than you earn, doing it each day, it compounds the results there. If you're rude and arrogant and don't have a professional attitude in your business, that compounds over life. If you don't show up and take responsibility and ownership for things, that compounds over life. The opposite to that, above the line, Jim talked about winning. And winning was small little disciplines practiced every day. So losing was small errors in judgment repeated. Winning, small little disciplines practiced every day. And I love the word practice in that. And an example would be if you spend less than you earn and save the rest, that's a practice. If you are pleasant and professional and in your mannerisms to the people around you, and you look to invest in the relationships, that adds up over time. You eat healthily on an ongoing basis, a little practice day to day. You then feel healthy over time. And so they're the two aspects that we've called. We talked about losing down below, we talk about winning above. But let's go down below the line and have a look at some of the attributes of people who play the losing game on an ongoing basis. I'll just change my language color here. So the first thing is that they actually, they blame a lot. They're always pointing the finger. It's someone else's fault. Someone else did this to me. If they'd done what they were supposed to, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in. Some people blame the external environment. They blame their parents. They blame their school. And they look for anything to blame. Yeah. Secondly, is that they make excuses. They make excuses. It's, I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not smart enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. They'll come up with a reason why, where they are in their life right now, and justify it with all of the excuses in their life. In fact, they stand up and look to validate their excuses. And then the last thing they do is they actually live in denial, which means they put their head in the sand. They pretend this isn't going on. They sort of turn away from it rather than facing it. And so when you have a look at those three attributes, the B, the E, and the D creates a bed. And, in a hospital bed, often we have people and we call them victims. Now, this is the victim mentality. Yeah. And you probably know someone, really probably maybe even pretty closely to you that lives in this space on an ongoing basis. Now, it's nothing wrong with it, but just does it help you win at the game? And there's certain language that people use when they are living below the line. Things like I should have. I might do that one day. Perhaps. I'll give that a try. Now, try is like making an excuse in advance. I might try that one day, perhaps, maybe. And maybe I'll give that a crack. Maybe no commitment there as well. And again, nothing wrong inherently with this. Yet you just have to look: is it going to create a culture of winning within your business? So let's go up above the line, to what winning looks like and the attributes of the winning team. And in this environment, I'm going to change my color to green here. We have people who look, when challenges arise, they look for solutions. Yep, they don't sort of stay and dwell in the problem for too long. They say, listen, let's worry about that later. Let's look for solutions right now. And they come to work and they show up and they look for ways to fix the challenges that they've got. They also take ownership of the situation. We talk about if it is to be, it's up to me. If I own my career, my role, my responsibilities, and I'm going to look for solutions to progress things forward, over time, we can create a culture where this just becomes part of the language. We then look for accountability. And accountability is really, in a lot of ways, just doing what you said you were going to do. Yep. And the last one is responsibility. And one of my favorite quotations, which you may have heard, is that the moment you take responsibility for everything that shows up in your life is the moment you can go to change anything in your life. So we're looking for solutions, we're looking for ownership, we're looking for accountability, and we're looking for responsibility. And when you put those four things together, we can soar above the line, and that leads into what we call leaders. So you can be a victim or you can be a leader. Now, over time, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is, if you want to share this video with your team, or even the concept is, lead by example. Encourage over time to be solution oriented, take ownership of the situation, do what you say you're going to do, be responsible for the whole of everything that shows up, and avoid as much as possible blaming, making excuses, ignoring the situation, ignoring the challenge, and using language that is below the line. By the way, above the line, we have a look at some of the language there, and people up there, I will, I commit to, yep, I am going to. And this is all the language that I guess over time is going to lead to a team winning the majority of the time versus losing. And it's not that you win all the time, but it could be the point where maybe you have a challenge, or you have a job, or you have a day where things don't really go to plan. But it's how you then, respond to that situation. And when you take responsibility, look for solutions, and you feed this into your environment at work, over time, what you'll find is the people who don't want to play above the line will shift away, and the team players who do want to show up and play this will be there each and every day, engaged, wanting to do their best work. This is simple, but it's not easy to be consistent with over time. And by the way, if you do see that someone is playing below the line, when you have implemented this and you talk about it and you discuss it and you make it part of your team meetings and look for examples to showcase people's behavior of how they've played above the line, what you'll find over time is that you don't need to say, hey, mate, that was below the line. You just have to ask a question. Hey, team, where are we playing at the moment? Are we above the line, or we are below the line? Yeah. So listen, take this. I'll just bring myself back to the main camera. Take this, and what I want you to invite you to do is, hey, start living it personally in your own life. Yeah. Secondly, gradually look to implement it with your key leaders within the business. Maybe you want to share this video as part of a team meeting, which you're more than welcome to. In fact, we've had some clients who say, I love this so much, I want to take it home and use it with my family, with my kids, and create an environment at home where people, live above the line. As I said, it's simple, it's not necessarily easy, but it's a great starting point if you don't have anything in place in your business as a way to create a winning culture. And if you'd like some support on implementing this, please be in touch.